Alright, let's get started. First, grab your darkest pencil. It could be a 6B, 7B. For me, I'm going to use my handy dandy ebony pencil to capture all of the darks. As I look at my reference photo, I see that the inner part of the ear is mostly all black. So let's capture that. Make it as dark as you can. Next up, let's render the tip of the ear, blocking in these dark shapes. So we have a guide or a mapping system of where all of our darkest values reside. Next, we're going to render some fur details. On my reference photo, I'm drawing directional lines of where I see the fur is flowing. And this is how I determine how I draw in the lines for the fur. Next, let's add some dark tones behind the ear and add a little bit more fur details. Now grab your HB pencil or a mid-tone pencil to connect the two values together, like so. I'm going to slow down the footage to show you how I add all of these individual fur strokes. This is in real time now, and you can see that I'm adding one line at a time. This may seem daunting at first, but with practice and perseverance and patience, you will get the hang of it. Alright, so now let's start rendering the top of the ear. I'll draw in some of the directional lines on the reference photo. And please pause the video to catch up. I definitely don't draw this fast in real life. And take your time, don't rush it. It's a marathon, not a sprint. When you're adding fur details, try to vary the width, the height, the thickness, so it's more natural looking. Also, do your best to taper your line work. Like start off heavy and then lift your pencil up as it tapers off when you create these fur strokes. Now let's work on these flyaway hairs inside the ear or the side of the face. Again, very important to taper your fur strokes. And always look for the direction of the fur, and that's how you should draw it. Capture what you see. Next step, grab your H pencil or a lighter toned pencil, and let's start filling in all of the highlights. Make sure you have a light hand, very slight pressure, and just connect the dots from one value to the other. Now let's fill in the shadow underneath this ear flap. Next, let's add more fur details on the exposed part of the ear. I'll draw some guidelines for you. And no worries if you can't get it exactly right. Nothing is perfect. This is your interpretation. That's what's lovely about being an artist. You can take some artistic license. So now I'm going to take my kneaded eraser and erase some of my original drawing guidelines because we don't need them anymore. Okay, that looks pretty good. Let's get back to it. So now let's define that wrinkle in the ear flap right there. Erase some guidelines and let's fill in this major highlighted portion of the ear with our H grade pencil or a light toned pencil. Always keep looking at your reference photo and follow the form. So now I'm going to go around the ear and finish off some more detailing here and there and defining the contours and maybe some more transitional elements from one value to another. And also defining this edge right here with individual fur strokes is very important. You want to create that illusion that fur is on top of each other. And so they're going to create individual highlights. All right, we are at the home stretch of the ear. Now I'm using my ebony pencil once again and adding another layer of darks wherever I see fit. Always comparing my photo to my drawing. So now I'm going to work on the tip of the ear and create some fur strayaways. This is the part where you can add a lot more details and it's really going to make you stand out from the rest. When you go this extra mile to render more form, more fur textures, that's when people will come and say, "Hey, can you draw my dog?" And that's how you make a living from your art. Next, I'm going to take my kneaded eraser and dab the paper to lift up some of these highlights or reveal more of these highlights. I made it too dark originally, but you could fix that. Now let's take our HB pencil and let's add more values. While comparing my reference photo, I see there's certain areas where it can go a bit darker and it'll create a better sense of the lighting, a better sense of the form when we add these extra layers of darks. And there you have it. This is what you should have so far. Please pause the video to catch up, and I'll see you in the next one.